Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on which part of the world you live. Welcome to the Lead From Your Sul podcast, Thoughtful Thursdays at noon with Dr. Aya. Today, we want to talk about the benefits of resilience for the individual as well as the organization. And I also want to touch on how my coaching approach is unique. And we'll also share a story of transformation that's related to business success and emotional wellness. But before I do that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Aya. I'm just a young lady, an adventurer, a wayfarer, crossing continents and cultures only to discover the truth that unites us all, our inter-universe. My story is one of intense transitions. I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and spent the first half of my childhood in Tripoli, North Africa, and the second half in Dublin, Ireland. And you don't have to be a cross-cultural specialist to imagine that's like living between worlds. I'm a certified leadership coach, credentialed by the International. I'm an emotional resilience coach and mentor and organizational leadership consultant. My goal is to transform the conception of leadership into one of inner peace, wisdom, and creation-based thinking. I empower leaders to lead from the soul through conscious awareness via coaching and mentoring. I help ambitious change leaders to beat burnout, enhance performance, increase their productivity, and master the art of work-life balance, and excel in everything they do. So why is resilience important? We live in this frenzied, rapidly changing world where everybody's running around. Sometimes it feels like you're in the rat race or you're running in the hamster wheel. It's just nonstop. You're being bombarded with information from every direction. You're being pulled in different directions, and sometimes connect with yourself and have that time to just slow down and reflect and listen to how you're being guided by wisdom. So in this post-COVID era, there are so many challenges. People with health problems. Some people have lost their loved ones. People working at home and living at work. Childcare isn't as available as it used to be. Inflation. There's always something looming around the corner, and people can be anxious. Leaders and employees sometimes are emotionally unavailable to the teams and their families. And therefore, organizations need to reevaluate the approach to emotional and mental wellness, because it does affect the organizational long-term survival. I did mention that this whole idea of which measures the organization's employee emotional and mental well-being, and that's a key metric for assessing the organization's long-term survival. So what are the benefits of resilience for the individual? As you may think, first, it will help you to recover from difficult situations, and that's the definition that's used by the American Psychological Association, is that resilience is about being able to adapt well in the face of adversity and threats and trauma, being able to achieve success and perform well under pressure, which is a key leadership quality. Also being able to adapt to rapid change, to uncertainty, but not only adapt, but also develop in the face of serious threats. Maintain a balanced, healthy lifestyle. It's very important, because if employees are not feeling well and you have more sick leave, there's this whole idea of absenteeism and presenteeism, or quiet quitting, where people show up to their work, but they're just not emotionally available. Their body is there, they're not engaged, not performing at their best. And basically lack of employee engagement. And that's part of it, is that they have this lack of healthy lifestyle, lack of emotion and mental well-being, because when you're in a good state, you perform at your best. But if you're not feeling well, or if things are not going, or it feels like things are falling apart, then you're not going to be showing up at work or at home. And it helps you deal with emotional turmoil from calm and clarity. So if you're resilient, if your resilience quotient is high, then you can handle any pressures, any problems, any emotional challenges, because that's just part and parcel of life. They'll keep coming at you, right? But it's like, are you going to be able to handle them from a place of calm and clarity, and which will help you see the way out? It'll help you in decision making. It will help you find the way out, move forward, and recover. However, if you are stuck and you're unable to deal with these challenges, then they can cloud your judgment, and you can make life worse for yourself, make wrong decisions for the organization, wrong decisions for your family, and that can affect the quality of your life and the quality of your relationships too. So how does resilience affect organizational success? Organizational resilience benefits. First thing, they boost the bottom line. It boosts bottom line and it helps organizations gain a competitive advantage. Because at the end of the day, an organization is a business, right? And if you don't have profits, then you don't have a business. So key benefit of organizational resilience is increasing bottom line and gaining a competitive advantage in the marketplace, decreasing absenteeism, employee absenteeism, and the cost of ill health, whether short-term or long-term, promotes psychological well-being at work. Organizations adhere to the health and safety standards. And in turn, it will enhance employee performance, which will increase productivity in the organization. It will ensure work-life harmony. Again, same thing. That's a benefit, the personal level and organizational level. Having that work-life balance lifestyle is very important. Otherwise, it's not sustainable, whether for the organization and the individual, if everything is falling apart. Reduces sick leave, engages the employees, and increase employee morale. So it helps increase motivation. So it's more of an internal motivation. It's just waiting for the promotion or waiting for that whatever raise. When it's internal, you get more personal satisfaction, and life is more pleasant. It's you have a happier life. Reduces employee turnover and increases it, because turnover, as we've seen before in these episodes, that it's very expensive. The cost of replacing an employee, especially top talent, goes anything from tens of thousands of dollars to 2.5 times the employee's annual salary. So by having the resilience, you want to mitigate the effect of high turnover. It's part of the natural cycle, but if it's high, it's very costly for the organization, and it can create a leak in the organization. Resilience allows employees to communicate effectively and influence effectively. It comes from a place of mindfulness. Also, it enhances relationship building. So if everybody's in a good space, it's easier to connect and understand. They're all based on their interactions are based or coming from a place of understanding and compassion, and that helps team cohesion, and it helps in terms of having devotion towards the shared vision and coming together to work as a team. It mitigates resilience. Organizational resilience mitigates presenteeism and burnout. My purpose, is disseminate a model of wise leadership, address the key leadership behavior skill sets and competencies, but also dives deep into what it means to be a transformational leader, because mindful leadership is not just about the doing, it's about composure and presence. I think they call it gravitas. I read an article in Forbes, and they're talking about gravitas, which is composure and presence, influence and impact. And that's an important leadership skill to develop and maintain. So how's my approach to coaching different? First, it's a holistic approach. It recognizes and acknowledges that we're not two separate individuals at work and at home. And as much as organizations would love to have employees leave their problems at the door, it doesn't really happen. In real life, they just bring them with them to work, and that can affect their performance and their productivity and their well-being and their team interactions, right? If you're not in a good space, more likely to have conflict, less likely to have engagement. So understanding that we are one, we're just personal and professional cannot be separated. It will help maximize personal and professional development. Also help you bring your passions and interests into your life rather than trying to separate, because it doesn't work well when you separate. The second point that makes my approach unique in coaching is the inside out approach. So there are many approaches out there and techniques towards developing emotional resilience and leadership development, and they're based trying to almost earn resilience or gain it from the outside in. So you have these meditation-based interventions, you have chantings and affirmations and cognitive behavior. And while beneficial, they fall short of recognizing our inbuilt emotional and psychological immune system. So they do help, but more like band-aid solutions. It can only help so much because they're addressing the symptoms. Whereas with this understanding that I use for emotional well-being and leadership development, it focuses on realizing that everything you need is within you. So this innate well-being, you just have to awaken that innate well-being by understanding how your mind works or how your human experience is created. Now, the third point that makes my coaching approach unique is that it's based on the assumption that human beings are whole, resourceful, and creative. There are 450 psychological theories out there, and they're all based on the assumption that we're broken and we need fixing. So you have to work really hard to get your emotional. In reality, you're born whole. You always have been, always will be. And it's just that you can't see it sometimes. And my job is to help you see it. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So it really changes. It's a mindset shift that changes your relationship with your thinking. The whole idea of flat earth versus round earth. When they thought it was flat earth, there was a lot of superstitions and worries and practices that they had to do. Whereas once you realize, oh, the earth is round, we're not going to fall off the edge of the earth. And therefore all that redundant, unnecessary thinking just falls away. All that needless suffering falls away. Look at this in practice. So I'm going to share a story where emotional wellness helped the success of the business, helped increase the business bottom line based on happiness, training, and coaching. Oh, thank you. Your approach is interesting. Yeah, appreciate that. And I would love to hear your questions. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat while I go through the story. So this is a story about a company that was reasonably successful. However, it's being able to service their loan, and the company in a way was kind of falling apart. So the lenders were thinking of taking over the company. So there was, the atmosphere was very tense. Everybody was kind of anxious, and there's a lot of panic going on and trying to work really hard, extra hard, long nights and days, but it wasn't really working. So basically it just felt like everything was falling apart. And then the owner of the company calls the CEO and tells him that he has arranged a weekend retreat, an emotional wellness or weekend retreat for the employees and their spouses. And the CEO thought, this is not the right time. But then he still complied with the requests from the owner. So they did go there, this small town retreat with their family and spouses. And when they got there, they were very suspicious because they were like unguarded. They were like, oh, what is this about? Are they trying to end it off in a diplomatic way? Or is this going to be a confrontation about what went wrong and what we did wrong? So they just started. However, it was, to their surprise, it was very different from what they expected. So the consultant did not confront them. He did not challenge their current practices or policy actually acknowledge that they're a competent group. He focused on trying to cultivate a healthy state of mind so they can act from a place of calm and clarity. And by the end of the weekend, it was a vacation like place away from the pressure cookers of the workplace, intensity of the workplace, and everybody felt a and more relaxed. And when it was time to leave, the consultant mentioned to the CEO that I want to meet up with you. And the CEO says, I don't have time. I have a company to save. And that sounds like a lot of people. They are suffering, they have problems, they know they have a problem, but they're like, I don't have the time to fix the problem. The key point here is, what is the cost of being stuck? The CBS. What's the cost of being stuck? Because people think that being stuck does not have any consequences. It does. It has financial costs, it has emotional costs, it has relationship costs, well-being costs, health costs, everything, because we're made up of body, mind, spirit. And if you try to ignore your problems, they can only get worse, right? A stitch in time saves nine. So when the CEO said to the consultant he doesn't have time, he said, well, it sounds like you have a choice, because you're trying to turn around this company. You can do it in two ways: in a healthy, coming from a place of understanding, or you can do it in a way that will make people, that will cause the employees to hate you. And that was a shock, because obviously the CEO was not aware of what he was doing. And the consultant mentioned his observation. He said that right now you are acting in a controlling and abusive way. You're managing style. You are micromanaging your employees and you're intimidating them, which is not helping. So the CEO decides, okay, let's just make an appointment and meet up. And when they do meet up and they have the coaching session, then the epiphany comes. The CEO's level of self-awareness increases, and he's able to see how he's creating his own reality, how he's sabotaging his own success. Not alone was he intimidating his employees, he was even intimidating his wife and children. So it was an attitude, like a type A personality, that everybody used to commend about being the CEO position. It was sabotaging the success of the company because it was causing a breakdown in the communication, and also causing a lot of stress in the working environment. Because if you have an unhealthy working environment, it's really hard to keep things together. It's really hard to lead your company's success. So this realization really changed things for the CEO and the company. So over the next couple of years, the employees learn to operate from a place of follow their intuition. So they're able to have a creative approach towards problems, rather than just sticking to the rules, just trying to think outside of the box. The CEO admits that before the wellness coaching, the atmosphere was hostile, it was reactive and defensive. But after that, there was more trust, there was more internal motivation. People are less defensive, they're less likely to fear making mistakes, so they're more likely to open up. And there is this creative flow of ideas and creative exchange, which helps them find solutions to the challenges that their company is facing. And also, there's more trust in the team members, which helps with team cohesion. And as a result, the leadership does not have to micromanage the employees anymore, because they know that they're well able and competent to do what they need to do. So the leadership can focus on most important matters, which is studying the market and making sure the company has a competitive edge in the marketplace. And even at the leadership level, the CEO explains that before the meetings used to take 8 hours, and sometimes it could never really get to any point or a proper strategic plan. But now it takes 2 hours, and it's more mindful. It's a profound level of discussion. People are opening up, and then there's so much insight flowing, so much fresh ideas. And then what comes down, okay, so everybody's happier. How's that affecting the bottom line? And the answer is, it doubled the bottom line. According to the CEO, twice we have been able to earn twice the income for an equal amount of overhead. So happiness and success. It's not happiness or success, which is the equation for many people. So when our levels, we're able to see solutions to the problems. Because when your level of understanding is down here, like when you're at the bottom in a valley, right? It's hard to see around you. You can only see so much. But if you're at top of a hill or top of a tower, there's just so much possibility, and the issues that look, or the problems that look like unchangeable, unfixed, now, and more options start to appear. So there's happiness, but also there is success. And most businesses manage the management style they use is more of controlling, external motivation, fear, lack of trust in employees, but with a healthy, positive, more reflection, insight, creativity, and calm. And therefore, you have more internal motivation within the employees, good decision making, more respect, more trust, mutual trust, and an open communication. So they are, when you act from common clarity, you're able to make good decisions, and you are able to come up with creative solutions. Most leaders nowadays are leading from a crisis mode. So they're not really leading, they're more like reacting. So by the time they fix one, put out one fire, fix one problem, another one. However, with this wellness understanding, the CEO was able to anticipate problems and solutions before they happen. So he was ahead of the game. And that's what leading is about. So the success was in two ways. It was in terms of financial success, but in terms of happiness for the organization and this individual. So happiness lowers overhead and increases profitability. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I'd love to hear your feedback and your takeaways. And again, this is Dr. Aya Carey, certified leadership coach, emotions and coach and mentor, and organizational leadership specialist. Please like, comment, share, and if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to hear more. And you can download my free goal setting workbook and guidebook from my website, www.drayacarey.com. You go to the resources page and you can download them for free. You can book Lead From Your Sul, the 4 world views of inspiring leaders. And you can also go to the contacts page and book a 15, 30-minute call, free call with me. So we can connect and see how I might be able to help you all day.